And welcome to an NCAA.com March Madness Skype session. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by Jimmy Dykes from ESPN and the SEC Network, and a little bit of everything, former Arkansas women's head coach. And Jimmy, you had the pleasure of calling last night's epic Duke comeback against Louisville. Down 23 in the second half. Zion Williamson was phenomenal down the final stretches. From your seat, how did Duke pull it off?
It was really surreal, Andy, to sit there and watch it happen, because I'm telling you, for 30 minutes, Louisville punished Duke in about every area that you can in a college basketball game. And the building, the Yum Center, was on fire. It was the first blackout they've ever had, and that place was rocking. And Coach K went to a zone, and I said on the air, I said, this is unique. You know, you're down 20 on the road, you go to a zone. That's not typically what guys do, but Coach K doesn't think out of the box. He has no box. And he went to something that said, I'm going to change the flavor of this game. And he brought Zion back in with foul trouble, and that zone probably had something to do to protect him a little bit. But in a span of about 3 possessions, Louisville shot quick shots. And I said, they don't understand what they're doing here. It's over, but it's not over. It's hard to put away the number 2 team in the nation. And, man, for that last 8 minutes, it was pure panic by Louisville. I said on the air, they got guys running from the ball. They don't want the ball. Now, they've had turnover problems all year, Louisville has, but I'm telling you what, that Duke team, when they flipped the switch last night, it was phenomenal to sit there and watch, and a real pleasure to watch Duke pull that thing off.
So there were other things that were going sideways, not just the Zion foul trouble. Trey Jones, who has had a great season, not just a great season, he was way off. I think he was 2 for 10. They got basically no production point-wise, essentially, from their bench. I know Goldwire produced a little bit, in terms of the intangibles. Cam Reddish, though, he had 22. It wasn't maybe R.J. Barrett's best game. What did you see from the other guys, not named Zion, that were able to sort of pull this team through this?
Yeah, I think the Goldwire kid gave them really good minutes. He gave them, defensive energy off the bench. It's interesting watching Coach K during that game, Andy. The first 30 minutes, there was no flinching. There was no change of expression. We all can see in our mind what Coach K looks like during a game. You don't know if they're up 30 or down 30, and he never changed. But I had a great conversation, Reese and I did before the game that morning, about the power of a leader and how a leader has to have a great face. And he said, even at times as a head coach, when I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do or what I should do, I never let my guys know that. I walk as a leader. I talk as a leader. I'll just talk us through it. And I think that's what he did last night for everyone, even the guys coming off the bench. Everyone that stepped on that floor for Duke the last 10 minutes, they took their effort and their try level and their passion through the roof. It was all of them. And you're right about Trey Jones. He didn't have his best game. Matter of fact, he didn't play well. I called him out a couple of times for not sprinting in transition. But when the game was on the line, and to me, that's who they are. They're not a great 3-point shooting team until they have to make threes. They're not a great fill-in-the-blank team until they have to do it. And that's a sign of a team that can win the national championship.
So, look, they've lost to an experienced Gonzaga team that didn't have Killian Tilly. They did beat an experienced Virginia team one time when they weren't completely healthy. Duke, that was. The second time on the road. As we look ahead here, they still got to play Carolina twice. Who knows who they'll play in the ACC tournament, if it'll be Virginia. They're not going to play Tennessee during the regular season, or Gonzaga again, obviously, but who knows what will happen in the NCAA tournament. What kind of team can actually beat them in that situation? Is it an experienced team? Is it a team that's got maybe, more ball handlers to sort of run at Trey Jones? What do you see as a team that can knock them out if that team exists in the tournament?
Yeah, it's going to have to be a team similar to Tennessee, because you're going to have some physical size. And Grant Williams can probably match Zion about as well as anyone we have in college basketball right now from a physical quickness, speed, combination, defensive player. But I will say this. You have to have a team that understands how to keep that ball out of the gaps, how to keep it out of the paint. Syracuse's zone, there's an example. But because if you don't, Andy, I'm telling you, if you can't keep Duke out of the paint, it's over. It is over. Because they're going to drive and finish, and they're going to climb on that offensive glass and just punish you. So it all starts with that. It has to have a team that has an identity defensively to understand that. They're not going to be able to change who they are just to get ready for the Duke game. It's going to have to be a team that all season long they've had a real premium, and the coaches demanded how to keep the ball out of the lane, and schematically they do it. And then you're going to have some older players that I think you have to have a poker face when you play Duke, because if not, even as a player, you can get stunned and kind of have a wow factor when Zion does what Zion can only do. And you have to play through those plays. You have to have a poker face and just keep right on playing. So they're extremely talented team. They're extremely long. And I knew all the things that I saw on Zion on film, but I'm telling you, he was the quickest guy on the floor, Andy. He's 6'8", 6'7", 285, and he's the quickest guy on the floor. I didn't think I'd be saying that about him, but his reaction to loose balls, his reaction to out-of-area rebounds, his reaction to switching out on people, it's elite guard speed in an NFL defensive end body.
And as Zion Williamson said after the game, Coach K told him he doesn't coach losers. There were no losers on the floor last night, that's for sure.
That was a phenomenal statement, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I can hear Coach K saying that. You know, I'm not calling you losers, but we're playing like losers.
Right.
I coach winners. And that's there's a great lesson there for all of us, the power of our spoken words. And I know that huddle last night, the power of Coach K's spoken words to his young guys was phenomenal. I'll finish with this. You can't deny the talent that Coach K has in that freshman class, but he didn't miss on the things that you can miss on. None of these guys are selfish. They have high character. They want to be coached. They have no agenda. They have no entitlement about them. And you don't know that. You think you do as a coach. You don't know it till you get them on your campus and you start putting them through it. And there's none of that in that program. They're a joy to watch. They really are.
Jimmy, I appreciate it. It was a great call last night, and good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, Andy. I'll see you at the Final Four.